this particular interactive, upon clicking on this icon, you will be navigated to the scenario. Don't you wish that these scenarios that runs from 1 to 12 are not just 1 to 12 scenarios, but perhaps something that you can change yourself? So yes, indeed, you can now change it by looking at this LOL master template interactive, capable of generating any scenarios. So you just need to come here and change the edits here. So let's say you think this is scenario 2, and on the fly, this will be edited. So keep to the formatting like this bold. One of the newer enhancement will be this particular input field that allows you to do a next line. And dynamically, you can see that the toy car text of the system is trapped inside an envelope of the system that's enclosed. Similarly, if there's any remarks, you can key it in. Now, one of the key differences or ability to upload an existing file that you have done previously. So for example, I may have been working on a LOL using this master template. The current version now is version 14. So you just need to follow what is the latest version here. So always click on the icon over here. So this is version 13. Do not click on version 13 anymore. So we will come here and I'll just bring you through in chronological order of how this interface look like, and we will cover some of the essential features. Find that the simulation is not rendering correctly, always click the scenario, which is this is already stored in the interactive. Again, I will go through the records and you can just click. Let's say I want to have another one. Let's say scenario 8. There's another records here. I will open it and you can see that it takes in the data that is stored inside records.json and pass it inside the parts over here. So you have to select or deselect this to hide and show. Similarly, if there is a dummy energy in, just select the number of selected energy transfer in and then don't select any of the radio buttons here. And then this actually can be removed. And if let's say there is some energy going out, and that is by propagation of waves, and then this is for gamma radiation. And check 5 is for whether the energy is present, mean greater than 0 in the initial state. So for example, I need the student to know that this is a non-zero energy store, so you need to check this. Similarly, if this is like on some mountain and you want it to be a positive potential energy, then you select this. If not, then the rest will be left blank. Let's say, for example, you want to have more energy transfer in, so you can select this one and then make sure that this is not selected, so that this is a dummy. And then likewise, you select here for 2, and then here you make sure that this is not selected, and then it will be a dummy. Okay, let's say this is all the necessary configuration that you want to do. One of the outstanding features of this interactive is it allows the user to not be able to use this button, then you uncheck it, which is the review button. If you want the student to have the ability to review the answers, and you click on this, the interactive will automatically try to solve it, okay, and it will now give you the one of the possible answers, which is now, let's look at this case, radioactive decay. So this is 7 energies, so this is some energy propagated out 4 units, and then 3 units still left behind. So this is a way for you to check or scaffold the students answering, so that they can actually use this as a mechanism to understand what is the underlying principle, which is conservation of energy in this case. So you can select all this, and then you can see that the answer will come out very nicely. To get a copy of this, all you need to do is just come here and click download. Once the export is done, you just select to where you want to. If you want to keep it to the defaulted name, just leave it alone. If not, then you can just say S8 or something, and then you can save it. And then this file must be uploaded to SLS or to a server in order to see the latest update. It will not work locally because I use a technique to save the data file, and this data file can only be read when it's up in the server. Okay, now if you think that this is, how do you know that this is a robust interactive? Is, for example, if I were to choose something wrongly, then it will be unbalanced even if the answer is 0. So this is some of the newer features that are made to increase the usability of this, to allow for more ambiguity so that it is a more challenging interactive. Now let's say we are going to do something more complicated. You need to select this button called check 7. So for example, if you really want, for certain cases, you may want to have a case where let's say the final nuclear energy must be exactly half of the initial. So you follow the syntax here by removing the commented lines. Then you just click outside or click apply code. And when you download, you will notice that this must be 5 and this must be exactly half of it. And then if you find that this is too tedious to generate yourself, you can always click review. And if the computer can find the solution for you, and you can see that the final nuclear energy store will be half of that of the initial, and yet it is able to satisfy the conservation of energy principle within the system of radioactive decay. So with that, you can see that there are also other useful features. So after speaking to certain educators, some people may want strictly not equal or greater, but you actually want something that checks against something which is smaller. So similarly, you can do a inequality. So let me put back the command line, okay, and then let's say you want to have the final nuclear energy lesser or equal to the initial, then you can enable this. Okay, so it is interestingly enabled already because of the scenario here, because I wanted to make it such that the final nuclear cannot be larger than the initial nuclear. Some of us may want to not use the default energy store in alphabetical listing. You can actually come here and unselect or disable the command line. Let's say I want to do a King CE, just select this and just remove the command line. So it's been made to be very easy. You just need to uncomment out, and then you click apply code, and then you can see that it automatically becomes the new setup. So, and then there were also other features like you can't drag all this icon, which maybe some student may be trying to drag it to put it inside the closed system as a way of transferring. So if you drag it, then you can see there's a question mark. If you drag this particular one, you can see that it becomes the propagation of waves. And then some educators or some students may teach in a slightly different orientation, so you can actually drag this to your desired angle and it will still be computing it correctly. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial.